Welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening live to Can We Talk by Master Relationship Coach Myra McKnight.
Hello, happy Friday. Good evening, Source Nation family. I am so glad to be here on another Friday with you all and myself talking about real talk. Can We Talk is a show about practicality, real life issues, and not sweeping things up under the rug, just being real about them. Because a lot of times we run into situations and what we do is we try to sugarcoat it, make it be like it's all cutesy and it's all well, but at the end of the day, it's not that. And that doesn't make us feel any better. But as a relationship coach, what I do all day is to help women become their best and to be their best. And that can be a difficult thing sometimes if you've lived in your life harboring hate, frustration, agitation, things of that nature, and particularly in your relationship, ladies and gentlemen, this is about renewing yourself, letting yourself free, and that's so important. My guest tonight on Can We Talk with Myra McKnight, your master relationship coach, is going to be Erin Elise. Erin Elise and I are going to talk about women loving themselves. She is the author and co-author of a lot of publications online. You've seen her, and you've probably read her, and you've probably seen her on some clips as well. Breadcrumbs of Faith. Breadcrumbs of Faith is what her organization is, and I am so proud to have her in the studio with me again. So on the other side, she is going to be in the studio with me, and we're going to talk about women loving themselves. And I've had a week. I tried to kind of break my show in on how my week has gone and what I've come across during the week. And I working with ladies every day, I come across the fact that we need to really get it together. We're living in a world that is not becoming of us. This is not the world that God has chose for us to be in. We're living in a world of low self-esteem, ladies. Low self-esteem. I mean, beautiful women, talented women, educated women, and their self-esteem is low. And so you say, well, Myra, how is that low? Well, it's low because in relationships, you do not demand the respect that you earn and that you should have. Does that mean that people say, well, you got to take something? No, you don't have to take anything. But what you do have to do is have an understanding with your partner, with your job, whatever relationship that you have, you got to have a clear, defined understanding of what you want. And when you know what you want, you better believe nobody is going to cross that line because you're not going to let them. Now, the problem with that is this. The ladies that come in my office, not crossing the line means to them going from 0 to 100. I asked one lady, I said, well, when he does something that you don't like and it bothers you, what do? I cuss him out. Okay, give me a break. Really? Is that beneficial? No. I had another lady says, well, I do go off, and I go off because he makes me so mad. Really? Where's your control for yourself? And what I say to them is not a good look. It's not a good look, ladies. You can get more from your relationship if you take your time, find out who you are, and begin the process from there. Because if you're going off, and I'm going to tell you the truth to sundown, if you are going off screaming and hollering and having a fit, he don't hear you. He pays no attention to you. All he sees are your lips flapping and your sound of your voice, like you were just like coming out of the jungle somewhere. And then when you start adding cursing on top of that, God, that look just don't fit him. But this is a man that you want him to love you, adore you, protect you, and give you those particular things that a woman's supposed to have. We're going to talk about that tonight. We're kind of going to get into the nitty-gritty, women loving themselves. When you cussing somebody out, you ain't loving yourself. That is not at all. When you're screaming and hollering, going from 0 to 100. And, ladies, those that are frustrated, agitated, and you're unable to talk to your partner, infidelity is not it. I have had a stream of ladies that have gone into that realm of infidelity. Now, you know what? I don't throw any shade to anybody for what they do. It's not that, but you need to find out why you do it. If this is not the person that you want to be with, you need to check yourself, and you need to ask yourself, I don't want to be here, then I don't need to be here. And if you're going to be there and then be someplace else, that is the wrong thing. That is a prescription for disaster, and that has taken the label of lady off of you. Okay, ladies, we're going to get the show rolling. Can we talk with your master relationship coach, Myra McKnight? Let us answer some questions for you. On the other side, in the studio, we will have Erin Elise.
Source Nation, stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening live to Can We Talk by master relationship coach, Myra McKnight.
Source Radio Network is just one of the many platforms that is used to fulfill dreams of our listeners and create a purpose that will impact the lives of our communities, cities, and the world. It is often said that great things will happen when a group of driven people work together to accomplish one goal. We're giving people the opportunity to have a voice, translate words that haven't been heard, and paint pictures that no one has seen. Source Radio Network is fueling your life's purpose. How can you listen? www.blogtalkradio.com/Source Radio.
Hey, you. Do you know your history? Do you know your culture? We have a beautiful history full of triumph, determination, perseverance, love, hope, faith, family, and community. And as your great griot, I want to share that history with you. A griot? It's pronounced griot, or in English, a griot. It's a West African term for the person who keeps up with the genealogy, the history, the culture, shares the stories of the people, and so much more. We're like a walking library, full of knowledge and ready to share. I'm going to take you into the history and the culture of your people from all over the world. A griot's purpose is to serve the people. That's right. As the great griot, I am here to serve you. Because the more you know, the more you grow. Wait, that's not my quote. Oh well, it's the truth.
The Great Griot, a brand new Black History web series. Check us out online at www.thegreatgriot.com or subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/thegreatgriot.
Welcome back, Source Nation. You're listening live to Can We Talk by Master Relationship Coach, Myra McKnight.
Welcome back, Source Nation family, to Can We Talk with your Master Relationship Coach, Myra McKnight. And in the studio, as I have promised, we have Erin Elise, and I am so glad to hear you and see you, Erin. How are you today?
I'm doing awesome, Myra. How are you?
I'm doing well. Well, I am so grateful and thankful for you coming into Can We Talk so we can talk about some good stuff, right?
Yes, and thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I am thankful as well.
Okay, I appreciate that. Tell me, Erin, and tell our listening audience a little bit about you. You're the owner and founder of Breadcrumbs of Faith. Tell us what that's about and give us a little insight to that.
Yes, absolutely. Breadcrumbs of Faith is my newest venture. I used my experience as a motivational speaker and life coach, and everything that I learned traveling with my workshops for the past few years to see where women struggled the most. And so I happened to create a blog that discusses all those issues. It's more of like a devotional. And so the purpose of Breadcrumbs of Faith is to help women to discover their purpose, their path, and their passion. Because I believe that a lot of women struggle with this. They don't know their potential. They don't know what path to take, and they don't know their purpose, so it makes it hard to navigate through life. So it's a very transparent way for me to reach people all over versus just doing it in the workshops. I want to connect with women on a deeper level, and so that's what Breadcrumbs of Faith is all about.
Okay. Erin, tell me, in your studies and going abroad and working with women all over the country, what stops us? What happens in your eye view as to why women don't understand? Because when I'm looking at a lot of women, and I see a lot of women and work with a lot of women, and they're always talking about our purpose. I'm always talking about our purpose. And I'm like this, just can we talk real? How long does it take you to find your purpose? Because you can keep saying it and saying it and saying it, and at some point it's got to catch. If you have an inkling of something that you want to do, you find out what it is that you'll do regardless of pay. That can be that very purpose that God has for you. So my question to you from a younger generation is this: what takes so long to find your purpose? What's in the way that you found that are stifling women from finding, locating, and following through with their purpose?
That is a really good question. I think that most of the times we have two different kinds of purposes, right? We have the purpose that conjure up where we're like, okay, I'm good at this. I like to do this. I see other people doing this. It's working for them. So I'm just going to hop on the bandwagon of that versus really taking the time and praying and asking God, okay, God, what is it that you put in me that's unique? What is that unique thing that you want me to do? So I think the issue is a lot of us are focusing on what other people are doing and creating a purpose based off of what we see kind of trending versus really taking that time to know ourselves and know what's unique about us that we can offer the world. And that comes from knowing yourself, and that comes from spending that quiet time. And I think that's the real reason that it takes so long, because a lot of us don't do that, unfortunately.
Right. Because exactly what you were saying, Erin, is that we look at other people, and it's kind of like we glorify what other people are doing, and then we come to the mindset, well, you know what, I like doing that. I like how that looks on him or her. Exactly. So you know what, maybe I'll do that. But that is not who you are, and everybody's not called to be upfront, to be the fireworks for everything. And you're exactly right about your purpose, is that you got to know you first. And I have found through the years of working with ladies that, we just don't know our purpose and don't understand how to even go about getting our purpose. What I found, and you tell me what you think, Erin, is that some women feel their purpose is totally just getting married. Or just having a baby. And I'm just being real with this, because that's not it. That is not all you're supposed to do. You got to go full circle. You can't. That's just not it. And if you look at some of the women of history, of course they had children. Of course they might have had husbands and things of that nature, but they did a multitude of things. And when women are not going full circle to their potential, you are frustrated, you're agitated, you feel left out, you begin this jealousy syndrome, you start to get toxicity into your life because you're not doing what you're actually called to do, because you don't even know what you're actually called to do. Now, Erin, would that always be a definitive answer?
As far as them thinking that marriage and having children?
No, whatever you're called to do, would that always be definitive?
Is
it always like, that's it, that's it, that is it, that is it? Would it always be like that on the first go-round?
No, it evolves over time.
Absolutely.
As you evolve. I think that we all have a starting point where we start off doing one thing, and then over time, as we evolve, it grows and it changes into something else. But we have to allow it to do that. The second that we say, okay, this is it forever, we just put a cap on ourselves. We're not going to be able to grow anymore. We're stifling ourselves. So we have to be able to say, it's okay for me to change and grow, and for what I do to change and grow over the years. It's natural. It's almost like, a musical artist, like when they put out a new record, and you might have liked record number one, but you can't get really you really can't get with their third record. You're like, I don't know, something changed.
Mm-hmm.
They did something different. That artist has grown and has evolved. And you're looking at their first album, but they're not their first album anymore. You know, they're on their album number 3 now. You still looking at number 1.
Right. And then you because there are all the time there's music, and just that was a good example, because there might be something you like by the same author and then something you don't like, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like the 10th album or the 10th song, but you like the first and the second song. But that doesn't mean you just throw that musical talent away and it's no good. It just means you weren't able to identify with that particular one. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. And let's talk a little bit about a little more about some of the things that you have found over time, which has led you to believe that women don't love themselves. What are some of the things? And I mean, I want you to really be specific, be practical, and just be honest about, from where you stand and your experience, what are some of the things that you have seen that has led you to the point where women aren't loving themselves like they should?
That is a deep question. From what I've seen, the way that we cover our individuality so much, it's like we're afraid to truly let what we have on the inside shine out. We stay in the safety zones of the trends, you know, the trends with the makeup, the trends with the hair, the trends with the clothes, the trends of, you know, being an entrepreneur, even if that's not really your calling, you know, kind of just getting into the race because we see other people doing it, but not allowing who we really are to shine on the outside. But another area I would say that really reflects in is in our relationships with other women and our relationships with men, because a lot of the times, and this is really especially among Black women, the way that we interact with each other, it's just unlike anything else. You know, we have a tendency to really, you know, put each other down and kind of compete with each other. Now, this is not everyone. There are a lot of women who uplift each other, and that's because they've learned to love themselves. I'm talking about the ones who have not yet, you know. And I've noticed in relationships, what really shows that is the kind of relationships that we're in. I feel like I see so much more foolishness now than I have ever seen before, as far as what we're willing to put up with. You know, if from the athletes, you know, beating on us on camera and us staying with them, you know, to the social media, not necessarily like a betrayal, but that comparison. You know, people in relationships are kind of compared to people on social media now, and I notice that a lot of women have an issue with it, but they don't say anything. I hope this is making sense, because I feel like I really just kind of
Right. And I think it becomes, you know, what you're saying is so true. I'm glad you brought that up. Let me give the number out. Our number here is 619-924-0933. 619-924-0933. You guys can hit us up, ladies. You can hit us up, ask her a question, or make a statement, make a comment. You can get in. You just hit the star button, I guess. Tracy, let me know what they're supposed to hit, because I don't know. And you said something that was so profound, is that our relationship with each other. But our relationship with each other as women is based upon our relationship with ourselves.
Exactly.
And it used to be a point in my life where, you know, if people didn't like you for a particular reason, I'm like, I don't even know what the heck, why you wouldn't like me. But at the end of the day, you know, as I grew older and mature, Erin, I don't even care.
Yeah.
But I'm always going to be that person that's going to encourage you and inspire you. But if you don't like me for whatever reason, I'm thinking you don't even like yourself. And that has subsided, I think, when I let go of that energy of caring about how another person feels about me. You live a freer life, you know. women loving themselves goes back also to the things, because you said about the TV, about the television and things that are on TV and the ratchet shows
social
and that
media.
kind of thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
And social media. Come on, give me a break. I'm just kind of like, women, we love ourselves. Why do you need to go and shoot glue in your butt? That makes no sense to me. You know, why do you have to go argumentated on your breast? Why do you have to pump your lips up? And do you think that women are doing that for themselves? Is that the competition they have for women, or is it that they're doing it for the men? What do you think? I mean, I don't know if it's a right answer or wrong answer, but what do you think?
I think that we're starving for attention. You know, when we post those pictures on social media all the time with the different filters, you know, we're hoping to get a reaction for someone. We're hoping that someone thinks of us in a certain way. And so when we do those things like, you know, the butt implants, the breast implants, the lip, you know, plumping, it's for attention. It's to be admired in a certain way that you don't think that you're being admired in right now. You know, it's to feel relative and relevant in the time that we're in, and you feel like you have to do that in order to get that feeling versus just being who you are and letting that exude. You feel like you have to put something on, you know, like it's almost like a costume, right? Like we put on a costume and it's like, okay, like now do you like me? Oh, okay, now you like me. And so I see that you like me and you like this. So I'm just going to keep doing that so that you can keep liking me, because I'm afraid for you to not like me.
And at the end of the day, you know, if someone's on my Facebook and this is all they're showing of their body and their skin, I just kind of remove them from my Facebook. I just don't think that that's appropriate for any woman at all. There are some things that you have to have self-respect for yourself, but, you know, to each his own. But at the same time, I agree with you when you said that women are searching for some type of attention. But the thing is about that, Erin, is that attention is short-lived. If you are promoting yourself online or you're promoting yourself any kind of way, you want attention at the end of the day. But that man don't want attention. That's not what he's looking for. And I don't understand why we not getting that, because the man has only one goal. And this is the same goal he's had since the beginning of Earth. So it's kind of like, what are you thinking? Do you think that, because most of the time I find that ladies, you know, ladies like attention, they like admiration, they like men to say things to them to make them feel good and make them feel sexy. But at the end of the day, that comes with a price. Because every woman that gets with a man because of that reason, she's not planning on sleeping with that man. That's not her plan. Her plan is to indulge in the niceties, indulge in the you are beautiful and you are 10 and you got it going on. She could hear that all day long. But that's not what that's not his plan. At the end of the day, his plan is to do what satisfies him. So there's no benefit to the woman, and there's no loving yourself at all in that, because now you've become another part of his training grounds.
Yeah. You know, I think when we base our relationships off of the admiration or, you know, the words of admiration and just that feeling of somebody making us feel good, you know, the compliments, and there's a part of us that's starving, you know, and this person right now is feeding that. And so it's almost like you're willing to do whatever it takes to keep getting that need met, until one day you wake up and realize, I'm still starving after I slept with you. I'm still starving after you're gone. After all the nice things that you said to me, I'm still starving. So now I have to keep doing it. And I think a lot of us have found ourselves in a cycle where it's like, why is this not working for me? You know, I'm doing everything that the man likes or that people, quote unquote, like, but it's still not working for me. I'm still alone. I'm still starving, you know. And we have to realize that what we're allowing to happen is that we're allowing that need to be loved and validated that we haven't really touched. We're allowing that need to be the driving force of our life. And because of that, we make some really poor decisions. We make decisions that we would not normally make if we weren't emotionally starving. You know what I mean?
And that's why I say to ladies that the number one thing that you have to get under control is your emotions. Because your emotions is like a runaway car with no driver. If you do not get you in order, and so what some of the ways that you know your emotions are out of tact, if you have relationship after relationship after relationship, if you make inappropriate and unhealthy decisions in one relationship to the other relationships, and just what you said, you're starving for something. And that's something, because being involved in a relationship of intimate or sexual is only a small component of a relationship.
Right.
So it's not the whole relationship. Because at the end of the day, if you stay with this person for a length of time, you'll find out that the dynamics of that changes over time. So you got more to work on standing up in a relationship than you do laying down in a relationship. So women feel, I think that, sometimes women feel like, if we do this, then that's going to keep him. But, that's old and done right there, because that's not going to happen.
Right.
He doesn't stick around just for sex because he can get sex anywhere he wants to.
Yeah. And I think that happens because we don't see the value of who we are and what we have. You know, when we know that, then it's like, well, I don't, actually the answer is no, and I'll see you tomorrow. And if you don't call me, it's cool,
it's okay.
Because you don't have an issue letting people go who okay, I see that you're not looking out for my best interest here, so okay, goodbye. But when you don't
and be okay with
have that,
don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to say bye. Don't be afraid to walk away. You're not. And I talked about this last week about being an obligator and being and someone being entitled to you. How can you give yourself over to somebody and allow them to be entitled to who you are? Because then we are so far away from the power that we have as women, and men say it all the time. And so men know what power is in a woman, and men know what low self-confidence is in a woman. He never has to say it, but he knows it, and he can smell it. He can feel that. And that's an important thing that women have to understand, that you got power, but you obtain your power through yourself, your inner person, your inner woman. That's what makes you powerful. Not the money you make, not the job you have, the car you drive, none of that. Because I have women that, I see women sometimes that have all those things going on, all of them, but they make the worst decisions when it comes to the relationship. And he can tell when you don't have self-esteem and your confidence is low. That's not loving yourself at all.
Yeah.
And if you have a man after man after man in a relationship, at some point you need to kind of sit down and, give it up for a minute. And I always say, if you got 2 men in a year, you are out of bounds. You got to stop, period. That's like having a man every 6 months. What point is that? Is there a benefit for you in this, or is all the benefit going to him?
I think sometimes we don't understand how the other party is benefiting from us.
Absolutely.
Because we're still operating from that space of what we need. We're like, well, I met somebody, he could be the one, so I'm excited about this, so I'm getting ready to put everything into this. And then when it crashes and burns because he's either seeing something that he didn't like, or maybe we were too needy because we're operating from that driving force of I need to be needed, I need to be loved.
Right.
And he's like, oh, whoa, hold on, I can't do all that for you. You know, I'm not supposed
Absolutely.
to. Or he could just be a dirtbag, because we have those too.
the man has already sized you up. He already knows if you're needy. He already know if you go in, and what I say to the ladies that I work with is that you cannot lay all the gifts at the door. You walk in, you want to cook, you want to clean, you want here's my keys to the car, go get some gas, I'll give you a couple of dollars. And Erin, it's just so funny. I said to Ken the other day, I saw a guy pumping some gas, and the woman was in the car. And I was surprised. I'm like, do they still have scrubs? I mean, really? In this day and time, there's still scrubs? And that was way back in the day. And, we took a lesson out of that for real when I was coming up. But, I'm like, have we not learned anything from the past or our past relationships? You pump gas in the car, and I'm on the other side, so, wow, what does that make you? I'm driving you still. And it's not about what he has, but it's about being that man, because there's a guy that a lot of women read his books, and he tells us how to get a man and keep a man, and that's okay. That's cool. But tell me, what kind of sense does that make? Because who needs the most out of a relationship, a man or a woman?
The man, absolutely.
Who needs the most out of a relationship? Men. Okay, and they're limited in what they need because their main priority is going to be sex. At the end of the day, give them some food, give them a place to live, give them a roof over their head, let them make some money. Boom, they are cool with that. But if we listen to what some of the pundits will say, is that we need to learn how to do that for him, which makes us limited. Because if that's all I got to do, I'm missing out on a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
So why would we not turn that script around and not be so involved in trying to understand his needs as much as understanding your own needs?
I think that's a really good point, because I believe growing up, you're taught, this is how you keep a man. This is what you do.
Absolutely.
You don't want to be single forever. When you get married, when you having some babies, and that's the ongoing dialogue, not necessarily with everyone, but a lot of the people that I know growing up, and, some of the conversations that I've had as well. And so I think because of that, we have a tendency to prioritize his need over our need because, hey, hold on, I can't be alone. I got to have some babies. Yeah.
And you got to keep him. And in order for you to do this, you got to do these 5 things. And if you do these 5 things well, girl, you can keep a man. That's ludicrous.
Right.
Crazy.
It is.
I'm just kind of like, we need a whole lot more than men. A whole lot more.
Yeah.
We need that attention. We need that encouragement. We need that affection. We need that understanding. We need that empathy. We need to feel loved, and they need to feel needed. And when you find out and you make sure that, because if you do all those things for him and you don't get any of your benefit, you're going to run into a problem.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get tired of cooking and cleaning and washing and feeding and having sex. I said to my husband a long time ago, I said, babe, how does it feel that you don't have to worry about what food's going to be on the table? You just assume that something's going to be on the table for you to eat. And he said, yeah, I do. That's that entitlement. And that's an obligation on the other side. And we have to have a conversation with our partner to say, well, you know what? I think I would love that, Erin. I know you would. Wouldn't it be nice to come home and know your husband has cooked food?
Yes. Yes, it would.
And you just know there's something, and you can smell it at the door, and you don't have to cook, you don't have to clean. It's nothing wrong with you wanting some of those entitlements that sometimes our partners feel that they should get from us. Because at the end of the day, we require a lot more. But security, understanding, empathy, those things that are important to us has to be in the realm of our relationship. Respect has to be there. Understanding, listening to me. When things, it was too cute, Erin. I had a shoulder injury. Monday, Oh, it was just terrible. So I'm in pain, taking pain medicine, my shoulders swollen, and I can't do anything. So I told Ken I couldn't do anything. I was like, baby, I'm in so much pain. So I struggled through work today, and I was going to rest to the show. And he says, well, is anything you need, anything you want me to do? And I said, well, you know what? Sounds like he was feeling kind of good, because now I'm not usually down, but I'm down this time. So I asked him, I said, babe, I do need you to do something for me. And he says, okay, what is it? I said, I need you to take my hair down. And do you know he actually did it? And I was just like, wow. He did it. He took my plaits down. But, girl, he was heavy-handed, something crazy. And I couldn't say anything. And those big hands was knocking up against my head. My shoulders hurt. And I was like, but he felt good because I needed him. And I didn't go through the pain and say, I got it. And that's another thing that we as women have to understand, is that men need to be needed. They need us to need them, and for us not to be able to do it all. So, you know, if we're having a bad day or if we're sick or something like that, they like coming to the rescue. And I told him, I was like, all these years, I said, you've never had to do anything like that. I said, but I'm proud of you. And he said, did you not think I'm going to take care of you? But for him to take my plaits down out of my head and get my band and put on, it was just really something special for him to do that. And so those little bitty things is when you're in a relationship, you know, no should not be a part of that category or vocabulary when you're growing your marriage or you're growing your relationship, or you need that person to be by your side and do those things that are important. Loving yourself, meaning being able to be transparent with your partner. Do you agree with that, Erin?
I agree. I think that you have to be able to communicate your needs, and you have to be confident enough in yourself to say, this is a need that I have, and because you say that you love me or we're in this relationship together, this is what I need from you. And the other party, if they really want to be with you, is going to say, okay, you know, whatever it takes. But when we're not comfortable with speaking about, you know, voicing our needs, there's something that needs to be looked at there. Why are we afraid to say what we need? What reaction have we been getting, or what reaction are we afraid to get? Because there's something there. If you cannot communicate what you need, that needs to be looked at. The relationship needs to be looked at, you know?
Absolutely. And you have to be okay. I think sometimes with the women that I work with, they're afraid to talk about what they need. And I don't know, and they need a whole lot. It's not that they are, they're afraid, is what you said. They're afraid of the answer or the response. I had a lady, and she said her husband was just kind of like, whatever, that's okay. You know, well, you'll get over it. The devaluement of your need, you have to be very, very careful when in a relationship, or you being devalued. And it's going to either happen before you get with that person, or it's going to happen during the time you're with that person. But whichever way it happens, you need to be on the lookout when it happens. You need to say, hold up, we need to talk, because I'm better than this, and I require this type of relationship to where we're open and we're honest, and you care about my needs. If you don't care about, that man doesn't care about your needs, he doesn't care about you. And there's many things that go on in a relationship, and I know, you know, some folks, especially those back in the day, would say, well, you know, you just, if he go to work, he's paying the bills, then it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay for you to hit me. It's not okay for you to cheat on me. It's not okay for you to call me out my name. And what about, and I get a lot of this from women that are in the church. I'm like, what did God say? What you can find many scriptures in the Word of God that tells you how beautiful and wonderful you're made. What is it about that you're not getting?
Yeah. I think a lot of us read the words, we hear the words, but we don't truly understand those words. Like, we don't meditate on those words. And that takes time. That takes time alone with yourself. That takes time with God, because, that's where it begins. We can't just read the scripture and then be like, yeah, well, I'm beautiful, I'm amazing, because typically what happens, we'll do that and we'll be on that for a while, and then something will come and, kind of knock the wind out of us, and we'll say, oh, well, whatever. Anyway, let's go back to how it was before. But when you really believe that, it's like, no, sweetie, this is what it is.
No, we're not going to have that. And you have to start, my grandmother used to say, how you started is how it's going to be. If you start out, you know what I'm saying? If you start out getting cussed out and kicked out and all those kind of things, then you can bet that ain't going to be the only time. And it's about loving yourself enough to know you and who you are. That's what we mean about women loving themselves. It's not about your body type, your body style. It's not how much money you make. It's about the naked you. That person, not about your degree, how much money you make. It's about you. Or you actually loving yourself enough that you demanding that love for someone else. And I'm not saying that you demand it in a very ritual kind of way, but you know enough that you're not bringing that kind of energy to your space, because when you do that, you're setting yourself up for more hurt. And I say this all the time, Erin, and I know you've heard me say it, but you're mild mannered, and I appreciate that. I'm just a little more radical here. But at the end of the day, Erin, you know yourself. A man will do whatever you allow him to do. And when women come to the realization that I have a say in who I am, and it's not being nasty, it's not being, putting them down. That's one thing that I don't believe in. I don't believe in disrespecting your man. I don't believe in disrespecting him, putting him down, talking about him to other people. Those kind of things, like in families and that kind of things, because you end up on the short end of the stick when you do that. But what I do believe in is that if you believe that you deserve that, then you're going to say, look, I deserve you to treat me like a lady, and to me, this is what a lady looks like. I deserve to treat me that way with honor and respect. And if you don't think that that's something that you can do, I understand. Yeah. So you can't be mad because a person doesn't do for you, but when he does those things, I've had ladies say, well, I let him do that because I thought it was love. And if you can imagine my face, I'm thinking, how would you think that that's love? And I tell my nieces, 8, 29, 26, you have to know enough of you to know what you're willing to give and what you're willing. You got to have those boundaries of understanding. Even when you're married, Erin, what do you think about that? Do you think we need boundaries in our marriage?
Absolutely. I think that you need boundaries in every relationship, whether it be friendship, romantic, or marriage, because it's healthy and it's normal. At the end of the day, when we are in relationship with anyone, this is okay, this is cool, this works for me, this doesn't. At times you may have to step back. Okay, hey, whoa, you really crossed the line right there. So I have to let you know that, hey, maybe you thought this was acceptable, but this is not acceptable to me. I can't tolerate this. And it's not that I don't like you, but this is for me. I don't deal with this. So if this is who you are, that's cool, but you got to go. Whether that be with a friendship or a relationship. Now in marriage, it becomes more of a discussion. Hey, whoa, that really hurt me. Hey. You didn't have to take it there. That was a little too low. And you have to make it known that it bothers you, because what happens is if you allow it to keep hitting you over and over and over again. And one thing I find that men say really well is that I'm trying. Yeah. What do you want me to do? I'm trying. I'm like, okay, you're trying. Now, you have to understand that it's kind of saying I ain't on all my cylinders at one time like you are, and you have to be careful how you address it, but you can't allow it to be an excuse. Exactly.
For the things that you say and the things that you do. You can't allow it to be an excuse. You have to not be afraid, even in marriage. We have couples that come in and they're both non-assertive, and one is afraid to tell the other. But at the end of the day, when something does come out, you feel as though you're being chastised for everything that you do. And that's because they don't have communication. But then they'll come back and they say, well, we communicate all the time. Yeah, you communicate sexually, but you don't. That's a very small component of your relationship. But in order to keep that going, you have to be able to communicate in all areas of your life and the relationship. And another thing I was going to say, Erin, not only in your, as you say, your platonic and intimate relationship, but even in your jobs. Yeah. Because people have jobs where they are non-assertive in their jobs. They allow a boss to intimidate them, or they're so afraid of their jobs, or they're afraid of getting fired. And I'm not saying you go and you act crazy, but you have to allow yourself the opportunity to be able to communicate effectively with anybody, everybody, your kids, your in-laws, your friends. It's important for you to develop a healthy communication valve system so that nobody misunderstands you for who you are. Yeah.
And I think that when you do that, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I think that when you do that, you're communicating, this is my value. Right. This is what's okay and what's not okay. And what I've noticed is typically when you do that, people respect it. And those that don't, you don't need them around, But when you're like, hey, actually, I can't talk until after 5, people respect your time. Right. They don't just call you all hours of the day or show up anytime or just think that, your time is not of value, But as soon as you set a boundary, people are like, oh, I got to have it. I got to have it a little bit more together when I step to you, regardless of whatever kind of relationship it is. Oh, this person has a boundary. It makes you look at them
differently. And that's okay.
You
can't be afraid by boundaries. And that's okay because if that's where you are, then you respect that, because if that's where I am, I would want that person to respect me as well. And it's not a bad thing to have boundaries. It's not a bad thing to have expectations. And it's all in how you see it. But when you find the you that's inside of you, that God you that's inside of you, you will undoubtedly not get into those crazy relationships just because I need to. Just because I need a job and make some money, or just because I need a man, or just because I want to be intimate, you'll find more reasons because you want to step back and ask yourself, what is the benefit for me?
Exactly.
It's not being selfish, ladies, to ask what is the benefit for me, because that's the only way you are going to be able to fully be engaged in any relationship if it has a benefit for you. Don't let anybody tell you that, the sky bring the benefit and don't worry about it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You are a human being, and there's things that you need to have as a woman. At the end of the day, when you take off all the clothes, the degrees, and all the money and all the other stuff, at the end of the day, you are a woman, and a woman requires some things. And that was required when you were born. You can't stop those things. You need those things. And if you don't get those things, you do just like any other human being, any other creature. You seek those things.
You do.
So that's why it's good to have those things in your life. But, Erin, I tell you, I am going to have you back in the studio because your insight is amazing, young woman, and I thank you so much for being here. Tell us how we can get in contact with you, Erin.
Yes, please contact me, too. You can reach me at info@breadcrumbsoffaith.com. That's my email. You can find me on social media at Instagram. My name is @Erin, ERIN, Elise, ELISE, Speaks. But the easiest way is www.breadcrumbsoffaith.com. Thank you so much for having me, Myra. I really had a good time. This was a good talk.
Yeah, and we'll do it again.
Yes, I look forward to it.
Sure. Thank you for coming in, Erin, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, you have a good night. Bye-bye.
Okay, you too. Thank you. Well, Source Nation, ladies and gents, This is another Friday. And I hope that you got something out of the conversation that Erin and I had about women loving themselves. There are so many things and so many ways that we have to show ourselves that we love ourselves. There's a lot of times where one exercise that I use with the ladies is that if you get your picture of yourself when you were a little girl, maybe 2 or 3 of them as you evolved in age, get that picture and look at that picture and ask yourself, what were the dreams of that little girl? I keep my high school picture on my desk at the office to help me understand that that girl had some dreams. That girl wanted to do some things, but life came in. But at the same time, it makes you be aware that you still have some opportunity to make those things happen in your life. Now, by the same token, what you don't have is who you are 10 years from now. 15 or 20 years from now, where is that woman going to be? Who is she going to be? Is she going to be happy with you? Is she going to be proud of you that you made it, that you've done those things that you told the lady 10 or 15 years ago that you were going to do? This is all about you. We go through stages from 18 to 28 to 38 to 48 to 58 to 68, 78, and above. So what are you doing to make sure that by the time you get 10 years older, you have secured and you're happy and you're thankful for what you've come through and what you've done? Because now sometimes we can look back and say, ooh, why did I do that? Ooh, I'm not going to do that again. But then we can look back and say, well, I'm glad I made that decision. You want to, in your life right now, be able to say you've made a great decision on most of your life. You don't want to look back and say, I wish I had have done better. Or I wish I had, not in the name of relationships. You can't let stuff control you because there's more for you. There's a full circle of life out here for you to enjoy, to experience. And you can experience it whether you're single, married, or divorced. You can experience that life with your partner. But in order to do that, you have to be in order. You have to know you. You have to create your system. And at some point, I'm going to do a woman's, it's free, a woman's workshop, a 10K woman workshop. As I was working with ladies that are coming, especially young ladies, I'm devising a workshop because what I do want is for you to find a way to have $10,000 before you get into a committed relationship. I would love for you to have 50. But $10,000 gives you. Before you get into a committed relationship, before you get married, I know they talk about the dowry for the woman, but we can't go into a relationship depending on our husband for everything. What about what you need for a woman? What about what you need in your life? Do you have your finances in order, your career in order? Do you have your healthy social network, not just your girlfriends who got 2 or 3 boyfriends or who's not in a relationship, who's carrying a lot of baggage? That's okay. But if you don't want to be in that energy, then you have to connect yourself with a healthy source network for you to be able to just talk about, not always about bad stuff, but about good stuff too. So, ladies and Source Nation, this is Myra McKnight with Can We Talk? This is a place where you come, a safe space for being practical, being real. I understand your plight. I got it. I've been doing this for a long, long time, and I do understand, but what I don't like is when we cut ourselves short, when we don't realize that we are a benefit to our families, to the world, to the community, to everybody, but we're not acting like it. Anytime you allow somebody to hurt, to maim, to disrespect you, to make you feel less than, you can't just cry about it and say, oh, woe is me. You got to be about it. You got to do something about it. You got to show the world that I am better than that. So that means I won't accept any less than that. So I pray and I hope and I believe that you guys are going to have an amazing weekend. And, again, this is Myra with Can We Talk, your master relationship coach. I am here for you. If you'd like to call me, my office number is 678-519-0385. You can hit me up at Better One, Better Two Relationship Academy, where you will see my husband as well. I am the president and founder of Better One, Better Two Relationship Academy. I also work with ladies, and I will work with you individually, ladies. If you're in a bad relationship and you're trying to figure it out and you either want to leave, you want to stay, or you just want it to get better, you need to stop by and see me at my office, and I can help you navigate through that. There are some things that only women can do for women, and I can understand you as well as you understand me. So I want you to have a fantastic, fantastic week. This is Friday. Happy Friday to you all. Happy weekend, and I'll see you on the other side next Friday on Can We Talk with Myra McKnight. Bye-bye.
Get at me for beats, y'all.